Good morning, members. We return to the subcommittee meeting of the 27th of the 5th, 2020. Is it 27th? Yeah. Is it 27th? Time flies when you're having no fun at all, does it? So 27th of the 5th, 2025, for the decision of the subcommittee meeting today. A copy of this will be sent to you in the post as well. The subcommittee has carefully considered the application of all the representations, both written, oral, and paid due regard to the Local Government Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1982, Home Office Guidance, and the Human Rights and Equalities Act 2010. It was noted that objections were raised amongst other points set out in the full report. The following issues as follows: advertisement of the application, stripping at such venues amounts to prostitution, and all such clubs should be made illegal, the dancers and clients' use of illegal drugs, residential area with children passing should not have club music, noise, strippers, drunks or drug users convening and causing trouble, and the premises has been closed for 6 years and should remain closed. The subcommittee notes the policy adopted by the authority in relation to sex establishment venues generally, but also specifically in relation to numerical control imposed. However, that control is not applicable to premises with existing licenses. The subcommittee is free, however, to determine the appropriate number of such establishments in a particular locality in relation to any particular application. The subcommittee accepted advice that such premises are lawful and consideration of such establishments ought to exist is not part of the decision to be made today. It is clear that moral objections generally cannot be taken into consideration. The decision to be made, accepting the report and the indication from the licensing manager that the statutory grounds of refusal do not apply in this case, is whether it remains appropriate for the premises to remain licensed in the locality. The subcommittee was satisfied that the police had not raised any objection and no evidence presented, particularly in relation to the drug use by performers and customers, related directly to the premises in question. Accordingly, and in light of all the evidence that is heard, the subcommittee has determined that the licence shall be renewed. The reasons for this: the subcommittee heard from the licensing manager that the application had been appropriately advertised. All the potential grounds for refusal, both statutory and discretionary, were considered as set out in the report, with none of the labelled statutory grounds applying to this case. The appropriate number of sex establishments for this particular locality is not considered to be exceeded, despite the assertion by the objector that this is a residential area and there were no reasons to warrant a refusal based on the character of the locality, the use to which any premises in the locality are put, or the layout, character, or condition of the premises. In consideration the location and residential nature, the subcommittee has been persuaded by the fact that the premises confirmed it had operated this location since 2000, which is 25 years ago, and the police were happy with its operation. The premises is closed down due to COVID and has reopened last week and is running without issue. Whilst the subcommittee is perfectly entitled to decide whether the area is no longer appropriate, it was the subcommittee's view that this area had not materially changed since it was last considered. The appearance of the premises and, in the view of the subcommittee, likely to be inappropriate attract the attention of passers-by. The subcommittee carefully considered the impact of the equality duty and whether any particular discrimination against a protected group or characteristics was a result from the decision. This had to be balanced against the right to operate a lawful business when licensed. The subcommittee found that there were insufficient direct evidence or concern or actual discrimination. Weight was attached to the lack of police representation, and the standard conditions also set out considerable regulations of performers and customers' conduct, particularly through the Code of Conduct. So that's the full decision. As I say, there'll be a copy available which will be sent out to all relevant parties. And if no one has got anything else to say, we can draw this meeting to a close at 11:46 AM. Thank you for your time, everybody.